Okay, welcome everybody to the Township of Adelaide Metcalfe Council meeting. It's Monday, October the 20th at 7 p.m. Everyone is here and accounted for. Our CIO is off at a conference, so he is not here. Chief Parker is unable to attend, so welcome to Deputy Chief Adrian, and thanks for coming. All right, is there any declaration of pecuniary interest or general nature thereof? Okay, seeing none, we have the agenda before you. If there's no additions to that, we have a recommendation to approve the agenda as presented. Moved by Councillor Brody, seconded by Councillor McKinnon. All in favor? And that's carried. All right, you've had time to read the minutes of the previous meeting that was on October the 6th. Are there any errors or omissions? Okay, seeing none then, we have a recommendation that the minutes of the Adelaide Metcalfe meeting of council held on October 6, 2025 be adopted as printed. Moved by Councillor Campbell, seconded by Councillor Kingma. All in favor? And that's carried. And to anybody watching online, I did receive an email asking about the minutes from the special meeting from last week, and we will see those at our next regular council meeting in November. All right, the consent agenda. Is there anything anyone would like pulled out of that consent agenda? Okay, seeing not, I'm going to make a comment. 6B, the natural asset valuation report. I encourage everybody to actually click on the link and read the report. I found it very interesting, and it shows that we're doing good things in Middlesex County. All right, a recommendation that items 6A through 6F listed under the heading of consent agenda for October 20th, 25 be adopted as recommended. Mover and a seconder. Moved by Councillor Campbell, seconded by Councillor Brody. All in favor, and that's carried. Okay, next on the agenda is the correspondence. We have a request from the City of North Bay to support a resolution on Northern Ontario Resource Development Support, the NORD pilot program. A request from the Regional Municipality of Waterloo, a resolution regarding amending Ontario Regulation 391/21, the blue box producers. A resolution from the town of Godrich regarding Bill C-61, First Nations Clean Water Act. A resolution from the town of Newmarket regarding the automated speed enforcement. Okay, we have a recommendation that council receive and file correspondence items 7A through 7D. Could I have a mover and a seconder? Moved by Councillor McKinnon, seconded by Councillor Brody. All in favor, and that's carried. Next up are our staff reports. CSA certified safety boot for firefighters, safety boot policy 2025. And as I mentioned, our Deputy Fire Chief, Adrian Tominga, will present that report. Over to you, Adrian.
Thank you, Mayor. Mayor, to the council, I'll read this report that Chief Parker had made up. The policy, purpose of the policies report is to present to the policy. Yeah, start over here. CSA certified safety work boots for firefighters. The purpose of this report is to present a policy of safety for council consideration, approval for mandate the use of CSA certified safety boots for all Adelaide Metcalfe fire personnel. The policy will enhance firefighters' safety and ensure consistent compliance with acceptable workplace safety legislation. Background: the Adelaide Metcalfe Fire Department relies on a dedicated group of volunteers who respond to emergency calls from and perform operations duties during and after incidences. In recent situations, firefighters have arrived at scenes or returned to the hall for cleanup for footwear that's not suitable for physical demands and the safety requirements. The proposed incidents operations, as volunteer firefighters, we can be called upon at any time. It is impossible for a volunteer to show up with the proper footwear at all times. This policy will have safety boots for all firefighters to change into at the fire hall. Occupational health and safety standards mandates the use of protective footwear in hazardous environments. As part of the ongoing commitment to firefighter safety, this policy ensures that all members are equipped with the proper CSA certified boots. The financial support to meeting this requirement. Policy overview, the policy, purpose of this policy includes the following key components. Mandatory use of CSA certified work safety boots for situations-based tasks involved physical work, including cleanup and maintenance activities. A $250 boot allowance per firefighter, renewal every 4 years. Boots to be stored at the fire hall when possible, ensuring availability when firefighters arrive in non-compliant footwear. Compliance oversight by station captains and officers. Reimbursement procedure coordinates through the fire chief and the township treasurer. Policy review every 5 years or sooner if as needed. Financial implications. The financial impact of this policy, minimal and manageable within the existing fire department operating budget. Assuming a full roster of approximately 24 active firefighters, the minimum expense over 4 years is $250 per firefighter, equals the annual average of $62.50 per firefighter, depending on timing of replacement. Receipts are required for reimbursement, ensuring fiscal accountability and cost control. The policy aligns with the township's strategic priorities in the following way: support health and safety of township volunteers, promote accountability and consistency across the department operations, ensure compliance with relevant workplace health and safety legislation and best practice for fire services. Recommendations. That council receives this report for information and that council approves and implements of the CSA certified boot policy as proposed effective January 1, 2026, and that the fire chief be authorized to administer the policy and ensure compliance among the department personnel. Respectful, Dan Parker.
Okay, thank you, Adrian. Are there any questions on that? I just have a comment. I don't think this is something we need to think about. I think it's a requirement, so. If there are no questions, then we have a recommendation that council approve the implementation of the CSA certified safety boot policy as proposed effective January 1st, 2026, and that the fire chief be authorized to administer the policy and ensure compliance among department personnel. Could I have a mover and a seconder? Moved by Councillor Kingma, seconded by Councillor McKinnon. All in favor? And that's carried. Okay, next up for staff reports is the sidewalk winter maintenance requests for tender results from 2025 to 2028. And I'll turn it over to our Public Works Manager, Coulter Cahill.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor Clark. My report tonight is pretty straightforward. Every few years, the township goes through a procurement process to retain a contractor to maintain our sidewalk network over the winter months. This RFT for the sidewalk winter maintenance was issued on September 17th and it closed on October 8th. This year we had 5 companies bidding. The successful bidder for the sidewalk winter maintenance was Brad's Lawn Care. This was based on the lowest price per snow clearing. This contract is also a 3-year term. The results for the RFT will be incorporated into the 2026 budget. I will note that the cost per snow event remains unchanged from the previous contract. Recommendation is in my report. I'll open up for any questions if there is any. Thank you.
Okay, are there any questions for Coulter? I have a question. I noticed in Johnny's report, you were over budget for snow plowing this past winter. So we're kind of expecting a similar winter, I think, if not worse. So obviously you'll take that into consideration when you do 2026, right?
Absolutely.
So it may just be more events to make it more in line. I mean, it is a bit of a crapshoot either way to try to figure it out, but
It is for sure.
yeah. Okay. All right. If there's no questions, then we have a recommendation the Township Public Works Manager be authorized and directed to award RFT AM 2025-06 to Brad's Lawn Care in the amount of $300 plus HST per event for the Kerwood Main Street sidewalks, $250 plus HST per event for Napperton Drive and Pike Road sidewalks, $250 plus HST per event for Center Road sidewalks, and $250 plus HST per event for Second Street sidewalks for sidewalk winter maintenance. And further, that the Township Public Works Manager and Legislative Clerk be authorized to execute on behalf of the Township of Adelaide Metcalfe all agreements and other documents necessary to implement this award. Could I have a mover and a seconder? Moved by Councillor Campbell, seconded by Councillor Brody. All in favor? And that's carried. Okay, next item on our staff reports is the 2026 budget survey results, and I'll turn this portion of the meeting over to our treasurer, Johnny Pereira.
Thank you, Mayor Clark. Through to council. As part of the annual budget process, staff launched the budget survey to obtain feedback from the community, which will be used as input into the 2026 budget. The budget survey was developed and advertised on the township's website, social media, and the final tax bill newsletter. The survey was open from August 8th to September the 14th. And we received 41 responses this year, slightly down from last year. The survey does represent a small population, small sample. So it's good to take that into account. But at the same time, it does provide some valuable feedback to what the community is looking for or thinking, or really how we're performing as a whole. This year was the first year we had 3 open-ended questions, just to allow the community to provide some additional feedback that is outside of the general multiple choice type questions. So that has been well received, a lot of good information in there. The report also highlights a number of key bits of information, how we were trending year over year. Overall, very positive. It does indicate how the town or the community sees how we should be looking at infrastructure, funding infrastructure, overall tax rate increases, and a number of written responses that will be communicated to all managers to consider into their budget. Full survey and answers are included in the report there. It has been communicated to staff and will be posted to the township website as well. The recommendation is to receive the report as information. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Okay, are there any questions on that? Seeing none, then we have a recommendation that the 2026 budget survey results report be received for information. I have a mover, moved by Councillor Kingma, seconded by Councillor McKinnon. All in favor, and that's carried. Okay, next item up is the third quarter 2025 building activities summary. And Arnie, I'll turn this portion of the meeting over to you. Arnie Marsman is our chief building official.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor, and good evening, Council. I am pleased to attend tonight. I appreciate your allowing me to come virtually. I'm pleased to come here tonight to present the third quarter building report for what we've seen for the first 3 quarters of 2025. And honestly, it's been a decent first 3 quarters. We're slightly up this year with regards to number of permits that have been issued and construction value. Permit numbers, albeit they're not where they were in 2022 and 2023, but again, we're up from last year. Last year we had 59 permits, and this year we're up to 67 with a construction value of 24 million, which doubled last year's 12 million at this time. The 12 million to 24 million construction value can be attributed primarily to some farm buildings, some significant farm buildings that we've seen in Adelaide Metcalfe this year. One of the big indicators that we like to refer to is dwelling units, new dwelling units. This year we've seen 7 new dwelling units. Last year we've seen 8. So generally pretty consistent with where we were last year, I would say. In my report, I offer three tables for discussion or questions. The first table describes what we've seen this year in our the 5 municipalities we do inspections for. That's Adelaide, Metcalfe, Luca-Medolph, Middlesex Centre, North Middlesex, and Southwest Middlesex. It gives council just an eye of where where Adelaide Metcalfe compares to the other municipalities. And what we've seen across the county is some consistency from last year. North Middlesex does continue to shine with the number of dwelling units, and Ailsa Craig has done really well. For example, last year at this point they had 30 new dwellings in North Middlesex, and this year they're up to 54. So it's really a good significant boom, a good news story for North Middlesex. But generally for the rest of us, we're pretty even with last year, if not slightly ahead. So in all, we've seen a good first 3 quarters this year. The second table summarizes again the number of permits we've seen this year, permit fees that have been collected, development charges, and construction value, and provides that comparison to 2024. And the third table is a more detailed breakdown of the different types of permits that we've seen, specifically to the third quarter, and then where we are year to date. So if you scroll through that, the first column talks about what we've seen in the last 3 months, the cost of construction of those 3 months of permits, and then a year to date total, and again a comparator to last year. So that's my report. If there's any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Okay, are there any questions for Arnie? Okay. So then if not, we have a recommendation that the third quarter 2025 building activity summary report be received for information. Could I have a mover and a seconder? Moved by Councillor Kingma, seconded by Councillor Brody. All in favor, and that's carried. Okay, next we have a recommendation that council adjourn to closed session at 7:18 p.m. pursuant to section 2392 of the Municipal Act 2001 as amended to discuss the following matters. Personal matters about an identifiable individual, including municipal or local board employees, and this one is specifically regarding a bylaw enforcement update. Could I have a mover and a seconder? Moved by Councillor McKinnon, seconded by Councillor Campbell. All in favor, and that's carried. We'll now go into closed.